Blog Talk Radio. The pot is always hot. The best DJs on the block. Brewing deep, soulful house music is what handsonradio.fm is all about.
What's up, y'all? We're back for another episode of Hands On Talk Radio. Myself, DJ Chuck, and co-host Tina Sinuosa. What's up, Tina?
Hey, how you doing?
All right, today we got the legendary Mr. Teddy Douglas himself from the Basement Boys from Save Your Soul Records. What's up, man?
Hey,
got
Tina,
Teddy
how you doing?
Line.
I'm good, man.
Good.
Chilling.
Okay. As always, folks, you can always tune in via the web at handsonradio.fm/talk, and you can listen right on your web browser. Or you can call in and listen, and the number is 347-237-5205. For the international listeners out there, if you have a question, you can hit the Click to Talk feature on the Blog Talk Radio site. You'll see that when you go to handsonradio.fm/talk. If you have a question, just press 1 on the phone, and we'll see your hand raised on the switchboard, and we'll be sure to get to you throughout the conversation. Also, we're taking questions from the chat room. There's a chat room on Blog Talk Radio. If you go to handsonradio.fm/talk, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see a chat room in there. We like for you to register. It takes only probably about 20 seconds to register, and that way when you're in the chat room, we can actually identify you and you don't show up as guest. So with all the formalities out of the way, let's get down to the get down with my man Teddy Douglas. As always, we like to start at the beginning, man. We do this so people can basically get a snapshot of who this guy is, you know, as a person, also as a musical talent that we all know you as. But as first and foremost, Teddy Douglas, the human being, what created this guy? You know, so we like to start at the beginning and find out what was your musical environment growing up, man? What was little Teddy Douglas doing? You know, kind of.
You know what?
We got now.
Let me see. From what I really remember is going to the record store like every week with my allowance, with $5 probably back then, buying records, 45s. I was insane about music, and that's the only thing that really that I knew was music, and that's what I did right out of high school. I worked in a record store, and my mom told me when I was a real little kid that I couldn't read or anything. Maybe 1 year old, I would identify the records by the color of the label is what I wanted to hear, and I knew exactly what songs I wanted to play by identifying the blue record was my favorite record because it was Sam and Dave, you know, and that kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, Mom, that was like, you know, at a very, like 1 or 2 years old, I was doing that. And, man, right out of high school, I worked in a record store. I worked for Music Liberated. And then that time, that was like in the early 80s. And at that time, it was really, you know, really vibrant. The music scene was vibrant, especially the underground house scene, because we had just come off the disco era. And the garage was still open in New York, and T. Scott was still playing at Better Days, and Catacombs still had Donald Stone there, and Philadelphia, and the Clubhouse had Mandrill and Tito Robinson. So, and Bruce Foss was there at the Better Days. So what I was trying to say is that period was a time where, like, Tommy worked in a record store. Tommy Davis, who was our original third member of the Basement Boys, he worked in a record store with us around that period, around the Music Liberator in the early 80s. And we used to go to the Zanzibar, to New Jersey, to hear Tony Humphries and Larry Levan at the Paradise Garage. And that inspired me. That inspired me to do what I do today. That whole experience of the 80s, very early 80s, like, because I came out of high school around 81 and 82. I worked right into a record store right from there because I didn't know what else to do. You know, music was my thing. And my mom said, you should go to college and you should be more like your brother. And all I knew was I had to be around music, and that led to me being a DJ because, you know, going to hearing those clubs, hearing like some of the greatest DJs like in the world influenced all of us actually. Louis Vega was there, Timmy Regisford. I mean, young Louis Vega. We all used to hang on the roof of the garage, and that whole period in Joe Closet. All of us was that period. So we, that we're close now. Even Tony Humphries and I, we all really close because we kind of grew up in that period. And after that, man, I became a DJ, and I started playing in Odell's, which was like the famous club in Baltimore. And that really led us into making records because Jay Steinauer and Tommy Davis and myself, we just started to make records that we wasn't hearing anymore. We come from this disco era, and we come to the 80s where everything was more electronic. We had the whole thing where musicians had lost their jobs. The whole Salso era was kind of dead. Prelude records, all those early, really innovative records weren't being made anymore. So we decided that we were going to make our own, basically. We were going to go in the studio, and basically Tommy and Jay were messing around with, like, DJ tools back in those days. You would probably call today tracks, where they were just tools that DJs could use in their set, and they would just be drums or just little maybe tracks or whatever. And I came to what we call the basement boards because of my love for the song. I love jazz and I love all kinds of music. So I thought our first record was Love Don't Live Here Anymore, which I sang the lead vocal. And I came, yeah, man, that was really a trip because I didn't really want to do it, and I did some shows too, Chuck and Tina. And I was an artist for a minute. I was like, whoa, this ain't for me, seriously, they pushed me, Jay, and said, you gonna do it. You gonna do it. I was like, yo, I got to go out there and sing, yo. He was like, yes. Cynthia Cherry signed us to Jump Street Records in like 85, 86 when the record came out. And the garage was actually, I will never forget that. It was the closing party, and Larry and Cynthia Cherry, back up to Cynthia Cherry signed us, and she was very close to Larry. And he played it that night, the last night at the garage, and we were all excited. But that led to us, starting the whole, we're going to run this like Berry Gordy Red Motown. We're going to get artists, we're going to get musicians, we're going to get, songwriters, and we're going to really do this because, this feels like this is the path that we're supposed to be doing. And we were all working in record stores, and Jay was working as a graphic designer, which he came up with the logo and everything later on. So that's where all those graphics came from. Mm-hmm. But we decided we was going to do this for real, and we had what you would call a cattle call, like American Idol. We had like 10 people come in and sing, and one of the girls that came and sang sounded like Angela Winbush, had this smoky, low voice, and her name was Ultra Nate. And we was like, oh, man, we got to work with this girl, So we decided we were going to work with her. Out of all those 10 people, she won the little contest or whatever we was kind of giving, and our first record we did with her was It's Over Now, a record called It's Over Now, and at that time Tony Humphries was banging it at Zanzibar, and that became like the staple record in Zanzibar in like around 88. So Alternate Tay had a little buzz, going on, and the record wasn't out, because Cynthia Cherry from A&R at Jump Street Records, she had a job also at Warner Brothers now. She kind of, still was, in contact with us, and she was really instrumental in Ultra getting signed to Warner, all of us getting signed to Warner Brothers with the record It's Over Now, and that's kind of like started the whole major label thing. And right after that, we met Crystal Waters at a seminar in D.C., and we met Crystal because she was supposed to write for Ultra. She was supposed to be writing songs for Ultra because she wrote Gypsy Woman for Ultra Nate. But what happened, Ultra couldn't sing it like Crystal. Crystal had this thing, it's like, man, wow, it was really strange. Nobody could do it like her, and then Crystal Waters ended up singing the record, and then that's how that came to be. She ended up having to sing, Gypsy Woman because she wrote it, and then we started working with her, and wow, and then I could just go on and on and on.
Well, let me take you back. Let me take you back. I want to go back a bit. I want to go back. We want to rewind a little bit and go back to Odell's.
Okay.
All right, because you went over that kind of fast, and I'm interested to know, and I'm sure the people are interested to know, how did you hook up with Wayne and got the Odell's thing? Because actually they would know if they heard your first interview. People don't know Teddy was the first person to actually do an interview on Handz on Radio back when he used to have his Saturday show, and he interviewed Wayne Davis.
Yeah.
How did you hook up with Wayne? With the whole Odell's thing.
That was real instrumental. I meant to also back up to the record store, because what happened was I got to know Wayne Davis by working in the record store in the early 80s, and he used to come and buy records. The Music Liberator was like the number one hottest record store in Baltimore City to buy music from. He was getting all the music you heard at Odell's was being played through, me, Tommy, and this guy, Tony Fashaw. We all supplied Wayne Davis with the music. And Wayne was, of course, Wayne had his own thing. Wayne would get his own, but that was the source. Bernie was the owner. Wayne Davis had the first things come in, you know what I'm saying, for Odell's. And I was working there, and we became, I started, hanging in Odell's and, demanded to get in, when Jackie would say no. And he saw something in me. I don't know what it was, but I was this young, aspiring DJ. We became friends, and I started my own thing at this club called Handz, and in the clubhouse in D.C., and I got my name out there as a buzz. And he said, well, you know what? I guess you're ready for Odell's, because if you got to play at Odell's, you had, arrived, for real. I mean, if you was a DJ at Odell's, that was like the creme de la creme. And I never forget it. My first party was with Lolita Holloway. She came down. She was performing, and it was my first, and I played upstairs, the upstairs DJ, and it went really well, and that turned into a residency downstairs on Thursday night, Tony Fashaw and I, and that was after the years of me hanging in there from, in the early 80s. This was like late 80s, early, right before Odell's closed, or actually before it changed hands, but Wayne and I became friends all through that time, we're friends to this day. Yeah, man, it's a long history of him and I.
Okay.
You know what, Teddy? I remember you. I used to work when you were at Music Liberator. I worked at A.S. Beckham on Dartmouth Mall, around the corner. I was the only one that came in. I remember the little Teddy Douglas, and I remember. Yeah, I
was downtown. Tommy was uptown, but I was substitute sometime. I would sometimes come uptown at night and work in Dartmouth Mall. If the ex was busy, then Bernie would say, yeah, will you come up Dartmouth? So I'll be in both locations. Music Liberated was, and then they had two turntables and a mixer in there. We be mixing all day, and it was the bomb. The whole environment was. I mean, that will never happen again. That whole era.
Nah, that's gone, man.
Yeah, wow. That was really cool. And right after that, I worked for 12-inch Dance Records, and then that was the end of me and working in record stores. Right after that, in the early '90s, I worked. Then we opened the store. I worked in D.C. 12-inch Dance Records, and then we opened the store in Baltimore, right down the corner of Charles and Madison, and that was and then that was around '90, and then that was pretty much it for the record stores. Right after that, it was Gypsy Woman, and I was totally, making records from that point on,
And Teddy, you talked about a lot of the attention you all received with some of the first tracks coming out, like Love Don't Live Here No More, It's Over by Ultra. And I noticed a lot of stuff was East Coast, New York, Philly. What kind of buzz were y'all getting from overseas, Chicago, West Coast? Were they even...
the main thing was London, because the guy who signed Alternate Tape, actually the whole buzz happened there first, because Peter Edge, that was our first trip to London, actually. Me, Ultra, Tommy, J. Alls, that was our first time to London. Was 1988 or something like that, because the label actually was the label was set up in London, Warner Brothers. Cynthia Cherry was living in London. I forgot, I left that out. She moved from New York to London, and actually, so the whole thing, we saw Alternate Tape billboards in the subways, back in, it was huge, of her, with this long hair, and It's Over Now, the big thing. It was huge, and actually, and I got to play at Hound Hope with Norman J, who was like really, like he was there, Larry Levan in London back then, you know. So that was that, and It's Over Now was huge in London. I mean, huge. So it was big there. It was actually bigger there than it was in America. You know, in America it was East Coast, like you just said. It was mainly Tony Humphries and all up and down New York but London was really, really, and Archer became an international star because of that, you know, you know, basically.
Yeah,
that was our first time in London.
Okay. And with the Basement Boys, how did y'all work this? Y'all were with 3 major labels at one time, man. Huh?
It was actually more than 3. It was Crystal. What we started with Archer was on Warner Brothers, and then we got a deal with Crystal on Mercury. Then Mass Order was on Columbia, and those guys was MCA. It was 4 at the same time. It was crazy. And then we got a request from Quincy Jones right in the middle of Mass Order. I'll never forget it. Right in the middle of Mass Order's album, we had a request from Quincy Jones to do Saida Garrett's album because he loved his children, Rashida and all of them loved Gypsy Woman, and he thought that, you know, Saida Garrett needed a dance record on the album. And I had to turn Quincy Jones down, man. It was like I regret that to this day. We all regret that. That we were so busy, you know. We had, like you said, it was just no way we had calls from Paula Abdul. I talked on the phone. We had calls from Melissa Morgan, Rebe. I mean, some of the hags, well, not hags, but some of the old people like Rebe Jackson called, yo. Seriously, yo. Rebe Jackson called, yo. Melissa Morgan. I mean, the calls was coming in, man. It was crazy. And, you know, we had like 1, 2, and 3 on the Billboard dance charts at the same time. You know, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, you had to be selling some major units to get up there now. They've changed those numbers since then, man.
Yeah, man, you can't even go, man. You can't even sell. We talking about people don't sell gold. That's 500,000 units. You don't even sell 200,000 units, man, these days. 100,000 units. It's not, you know, it's crazy. It's different. It's a whole different thing. The digital world has really, you know, changed the whole thing.
And I want to get into that a little bit later in the conversation. I want to get into this whole switch over to digital world. We got Teddy Douglas on the line, y'all. handsonradio.fm/talk is the site if you want to listen over the web. If you want to call in over the phone, it's 347-237-5205. If you have a question, just hit 1 on your keypad, and we'll see you show up on the switchboard, and you can pose a question live and direct to Teddy Douglas or comment, whichever you prefer, to Teddy Douglas. You can also hit us up in the Blog Talk Radio chat room or in the Hands on Radio chat room. I'm in there monitoring that as well. Okay. We got a couple questions coming in the chat. We'll get to those a little later. So let's get back to the Basement Boys, Teddy.
Okay.
And that whole the whole way that evolved, and you know, you went through quite a few different looks in the Basement Boys. It started out with what was it, you, Jay, and Tommy.
Yeah,
and then, later, that was the original 3. Where did Neil Conway fit in? You know, then your Charisma, Spin, all them dudes.
There is so many misconceptions of that, but I'm here to set the record straight. Because after Tommy left the Basement Boys, there's never been a third Basement Boy. You know, it was always Jay and I. Originally, Neil Conway is a part of the team. When I was talking about when we decided what we were going to do, we take this thing serious. We decided we was going to get a team of musicians, singers, songwriters, and Neil was a part of the team as a musician. You know, Neil Conway actually co-wrote Gypsy Woman and a few other things with us. There was other keyboard players at that time too. Mark Harris wrote "Making Happy" with Gypsy Woman. I mean, with Crystal Waters. Mark Harris actually was our first keyboard player. Mark Harris. And then there was Neil Conway, and then after Neil Conway, there was Gary Hudge, who is now with Spin at the Motherfunkers.
Right.
And Spin came in, and I'll go through the line how it happened. Right after we did Gypsy Woman with Neil Conway, Tommy kind of left right after the second album, Alternate Taste second album, One Woman's Insanity. The pressure of it was really, Tommy didn't really think it was fun anymore. So he decided he didn't want to do it anymore, and we had to have all this big investment. And we got big, giant, huge, like we just talked about, huge major label contracts on this table. Life has to, go on. So we decided we were going to go on and bring Spin in as the guy who would actually be a co-production guy. Spin came in, writing beats for us, and actually co-wrote a lot of stuff on Alternate Taste, second album when Tommy wasn't there, and we kept him on Spin was an incredible guy, songwriter, and he had just done that. We had worked with him, and Tommy had worked with him from the New Marks. These guys, the rap group they did, Girl, You Know It's True. That's a big rap group, a local rap group from Baltimore. Right. So Spin was known in the industry. He wasn't a strange guy to writing songs and being in the industry. And Spin came on, and we bought the studio, this big giant facility, and we gave him his own studio. We had Studio A and Studio B, and Spin had Studio B. And I was at that time I was developing. I was working with Fertile Ground, and I was working with Vinx, and I was working with a lot, just developing other things outside of dance music. And at that time, he said, "You should meet this young guy, man. He's this young guy, man. He's been in the hip hop community. His name's Charisma, and you should meet him." And I said, "All right, I'll meet him." And actually, right around that time, there was another guy there, Maury Fulton, who lives in London now. That was like, I could swear him and Charisma are the same good people, but kind of the same kind of guy. He was working with Spin for a while, and Charisma came in and as another guy to produce. So it was back the two of those guys back there working in the B room, and they did some incredible stuff. They helped us out during a lot of period where we ran Basin Boys Records, where I could do other things and I let them do mainly the whole bulk of the Basin Boys Records based production roster, like Jazz Street Company and anything like that. I wanted to keep the dance thing rolling while I developed. At that time, I met Margaret Grace. Around that time, we was doing like folk dance, like indie R&B kind of things, and I was shopping her and stuff. So Charisma actually got fired. He started doing productions in Italian magazine. I read in this Italian magazine that he had done a production I knew nothing about, and I thought that loyalty was broken and challenged me to fire him. So he to this day, I hope things are okay with us, but that was something that I made a judgment call to do that, because I felt that it was a family. I ran that. We run Basin Boys Records like it was a family. Mm-hmm. I felt betrayed. And right around that time, the industry started changing, like late 2000, and where we were selling 10,000 Basin Boys records, 20,000 units, 10,000 units, became 5,000 units. And Spin felt the needed to grow. So, and he wanted to do his own thing. And he decided that he was going to do his own thing, and because Spin and I are very close, I decided, you know what, you have to do your own thing, and he decided he was going to do his own thing, which is now called Code Red. Mm-hmm. And he took the musicians, like I was speaking of Gary Hudge and Irvin Mann, which is the bass player, and Wayne Cooper, which is the guitar player, stayed with me. So it was kind of like a divorce. You got the cat, I got the dog, But, a happy divorce, not nothing like screaming and throwing nothing at each other. I was like, yo, okay, I understand, you need to grow. And it's, everyone needs to grow, you know what I'm saying? And I feel proud that, I'm responsible for, we just named about 7 people's careers, over this conversation we talking about, And over that period of me dancing into Paradise Garage, you know, in the very early 80s. So I'm proud, you know, of it, you know, and actually he's doing very well now. They're doing very well, and we're going to relaunch Basin Boys again this year. We have the 20th anniversary of Winter Music Conference this year to commemorate 20 years of doing Gypsy Woman with Crystal. Crystal's going to perform, and I got Danny Teniglia, who played the first, he broke the record in Winter Music Conference, 91. He's going to DJ, and it's going to be a real big party in Miami this year, March the 8th in Miami, to celebrate it. So everything is, you know, it's cool, you know, with, you know, everything's good.
So mark your calendars, folks. March 8th. We will get back to that a little later on. We you know, recap on all the things you got coming up. We got Teddy Douglas on the line. We had some folks in the Hands on Radio chat room. Come on over to Blog Talk Radio. We're here, handsonradio.fm/talk, or you can call 347-237-5205. Don't forget to register with Blog Talk Radio once you get over to Blog Talk Radio. Got a question for you, Teddy, about when you were with these 4 major labels at the same time. Did you all get pressured to create music outside of the dance music realm? And if so, I mean, did that create internal pressure within the company with guys wanting to stick to, you know, to the house thing?
Well, that's very interesting. 2 things. We got a lot of pressure of making Gypsy Woman over and over and over, and that got redundant, and we couldn't do that. You know, it's like every executive one does, hey, man, do the same way you did it before, man, the same way, la dee, you know, with the same vocal, man, with the same drums, with the same... We couldn't do that, man. And for me, musically, as we just talked about how we even became Basin Boys, is my need to grow. Like I was talking about, you know, to do other things outside of, because, you know, dance music was, all of a sudden, people had dance departments in these major labels didn't have jobs anymore, man. It was changing, you know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that was like in the mid-'90s, you know. The dance department dried up, then the R&B departments dried up. And then, you know, it's just like the whole thing just... Then Tower Records closed down, and then we got the digital world, and now we got a whole nother game, you know. So it just changed, and that's why we really started Basin Boys Records, to actually keep, you know, to do what we do, you know. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why we even started the label. Mm-hmm. And you know, I wanted to do more because I thought that basically, you know, it's unfair for, you know, just to do dance music. And I even tried to get Spin to do more different, but Spin only wanted to do, despite what people think, Spin only wanted to do dance music. I'm saying that for the record. Because I've heard Spin, I forced him to do that. It's like, nah, Spin loves, as y'all can hear what he's doing now, Spin loves dance music. You know, he comes from hip-hop, you know. You know, I begged him to do. You know, yo, you come from hip hop. I met you. You was battling Busy B and Big Monkey, and you know, what's up, man? You know, you know, but you know, he loves his dance, his house.
Right.
And I've turned him into a house DJ. I started him. He was my he was my opening DJ on the road. You know, a lot of times, you know, internationally, and I plugged him into that, and you know, we plugged Charisma into it. And now they're international DJs. You know.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't believe me when I tell them. Except after I did the interview with Spin, now people know, but they did not believe Spin had anything to do with hip hop.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, man. I mean, he was the bomb too. He wasn't no slouch.
Yeah.
I mean, the bomb. He was the bomb. He was really, really, really innovative back then. You know, in the '80s. You know, he was a young kid too, because you know he's younger than now. He was a real young kid, but just amazing. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
And
amazing.
They used to mix it up back then, man. I always mess with him about the fact that if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't even started Hands on Radio, because he turned me on to my first house record in '85, back when they used to be on V103, when they used to do those mega mixes with the new model. And he played music is the key. He snuck that into the set, and the only reason I got into it because they was rapping. They had that little rap in it, and that got my attention.
Yeah.
And that turned out it was over after that.
Yeah. I feel old.
Yeah. But yeah, Teddy, I just want to get back into this whole transition, man. I remember one. I was DJing down in Sugar one night, and you came down there, and you was like, Chuck, man, I'm gonna sell my publishing company, man, and just chill. That wasn't your exact words, but you said you felt else to chill. I'm like, yeah, he doing over. Next thing I know, Save Your Soul comes out. Margaret Grace. I mean, you like coming out full force with all this music, man. And I remember you just being up. You just seemed like you was just upset with the whole industry, just the way things were going, man. And you kind of just turned it around and started to make it work for you regardless, you know, just kind of going with the flow of things, you know, working with it, you know. What changed, man? What changed your mind?
Oh, man. What changed my mind? That point, I was really, like, ready to, like, retire and do it. And Margaret, I'm going to tell you, Margaret and Wayne, who is my homie, the guitar player from the Basin Boys, they said, you know, we have this park thing, you know, in the picnic in the park where, you know, where all the DJs play. And that year, they begged me to do it, you know. You got to do it. And that event changed my mind because in fact, they didn't talk me into Margaret performed that part in the park too. And that event actually, I DJ'd for like an hour or two, and I got so much love, and I felt like, wow, I owe it to all these people from, you know, they give me all this. I owe it to them to at least, you know, give it as much as I can, you know, as much back. That's why I do the parties called Salvation. I owe it, you know, so I decided that I was going to go ahead and do it. And I finished. Margaret said, you know, let's go ahead on, and Margaret is a great songwriter, so we decided, we wrote the song called God Created Woman right after that park thing, and we started writing some songs again, and we had wrote What You Gonna Do maybe about a year before it came out, but it was a ballad, and I turned it into a dance record. And with Wayne redid the guitar, the acoustic guitar, and I gave it to Timmy at the shelter, and because Timmy and Cynthia Cherry again. Cynthia Cherry is really close to Timmy, so we gave it to Timmy one night. So Ben was one of the DJs when it was on 39th Street. He called me like 5 in the morning. You know, that's kind of almost peak time at shelter. I'm like, oh shit, somebody's dead. You know, my phone ringing at 5 in the morning. He said, Teddy, can you hear this in the background? And it was What You Gonna Do? I was like, what? He said, man, Timmy is killing this. And that was the birth of that, because once that happened, Timmy, you know, gave it, you know, the royal treatment at the shelter that night. The shelter was still hot. I got all these calls, and I decided to start my own label because I didn't have a label or anything, you know. I started, and the label was going to be called Salvation because that's what I call the party, Salvation. And the subtext of that is Save Your Soul, you know. It's like a subtext. And when I went to Judy, who I love, in New York, and to put it out, and they at downtown 161, she said, I really like Save Your Soul. She said, I really like that better. And I said, you know what, I like that better too. So we decided to do that, and that's what I did, the vinyl first. And then I decided to do the label, and then I decided to do the digital, and then I got a call from Sheldon at Track Source, and I got a call from all these people who said, man, we want to do it digitally, and they just pulled me in, Chuck and Tina, like a magnet, and all of a sudden one thing led to another, and now I'm in it so deep right now, like as we speak, I don't know what to do with myself. I really am, man, because it's crazy. It really is. And that's how that happened, man. I tell you, the park did it, snowballed the whole thing. Okay. Margaret, you know, and just kind of like snowballed the whole thing to this day, man.
And that's Collective Minds. I remember that.
Yeah, Collective Minds picnic. Yep. And it was different. And that was it.
My son fell in love with that record. He was on stage dancing when they had all the kids go up on stage and let them dance.
Yeah. But
you know what I heard? I heard at Lincoln Park. I heard.
Oh yeah, Lincoln Park. I was gonna say. Now the other thing was Joe Clausell at Lincoln Park was happening at the same time, Nate, because I think it happened right after or right before at the same time. You're right, Tina, because I got a call that Joe Clausell completely destroyed it at Lincoln Park that
year.
Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't out. And I was kind of pissed off a little bit because I went to Judy, and I know Judy gave it to Joe. Because I said, how did Joe get this record? And it wasn't out or anything. It's on YouTube, though. Yeah, man. But it was all good, man, because Joe actually helped break that record, man. Yeah, he sure did.
Let's talk about some of the other stuff you've been doing, like the Mudfoot Jones stuff. I mean, you're doing a lot more than just house. I mean, you just did the track with the Flow Assist and Raheem Devon, which is like one of the best tracks on the album. That track, that was man.
Thank you, man. That was crazy. What happened is I got to give props up to. I work with this group called Marcel and the Truth. It's like R&B band, which I was working with. I met through Further Ground when I was working with Further Ground, and the guy Marcel did a show, and he invited the Flow Assist to come in and do a show that night, and we kind of hooked up, and she came in and did a song because I'm working on an album with Marcel right now. I'm producing with Marcel, and then we hooked up that way. And then she said she was working on her record, and Raheem's right in D.C., so her manager hooked it up where I wrote a track and I sent it to them. They loved it, so Raheem came in. They came in from London. We all met. I have a studio in Baltimore, and we all just came in and we rocked it. Raheem killed it, totally killed it.
Yes.
And that's how that came to be, basically. Via Marcel. So look out for that too. That's coming in the spring. Marcel, Teddy Douglas presents Marcel, and he's like a Luther Vandross. I don't know if you guys heard of Marcel and the Truth, but let's make a little bit of noise. I did the first album. He's got 2 independent records out right now, and that's how that happened pretty much. And Margaret, we got a new track, Margaret Grace, coming out called My Love Is Not Blind. That should be out in probably early summer, like around May. That is, it's co-produced by this guy named RG that's in London. That's real kind of, it's real cool. It's a cool record him and I produced. And that's coming on Save Your Soul in May. We got a record with DJ Tons coming out for the Winter Music Conference. That should be out late February. And it's called Gotta Get Away. And Kai, you got DJ Tons, from Baltimore, well, him and I collaborated on this track that he's been, Tons wants to, show that he's got some skills, and Tons is a very close friend of mine. Actually, Tons, people don't know, Tons used to work for Basin Boys back in the 90s. Late early 2000s. Tons was like my assistant, and he became this big giant DJ after that. But that's how we had a relationship since then. And he's in the studio now. We did this collaboration, and it's pretty so like a techie kind of Teddy Douglas mixed with what he does, the Baltimore thing, and it's kind of interesting. Okay. And that's coming out in a Winter Music sampler with a track called Teddy's Demo from Kai. Kai's in Atlanta.
Atlanta, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody know Kai, right? I know everybody know Kai.
Yeah.
I know Kai.
Yeah.
Kai, that's my man. So that's going to be like a 2-track EP coming out on Save Your Soul in February.
Oh, man. Busy, man.
Yeah, man, I got just a little bit. Now, really, just trying to. Oh, and I would just finish the track with Mason Leak, everybody. So that's really what I'm excited about that. She's working on the Marcel project with me. So that should come, like I said, around May or so. Mason Leak is on the track with us too. And she came in and she totally ripped it. Oh my God! It's really, it's like it's like a incognito. It's kind of up tempo, Latin kind of dancey thing. And Mason Leak is just amazing. She's amazing.
Wow. So with the string of hits you got coming from Margaret Grace, I mean, have you guys been touring? Has Margaret been?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know what? We had touring last year. We did some things in London, and she hasn't been on the road too much this year. But last year when we had What You Gonna Do out, we were doing a few things. But we went to London and we went to. She's really huge, and we did like about 5 shows in Jersey. I mean, she's got like a big fan base in Jersey, And she did the Lincoln Park Festival 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was good.
Yeah, that was really good. And then, but recently, no, she moved to North Carolina, which makes it a little difficult. But now she anybody ready to book Margaret, just call my manager, Dan, at connectedtalent.com to book Margaret Grace.
Okay.
Or you can reach me at TedDancing1 at Verizon.net. Love to book Margaret Grace. Sure.
Speaking of dancing, I wanna address this issue, man. When you DJ, and a lot of us younger guys was coming up watching y'all DJ, you dance when you DJ. I dance when I DJ. We like me and Biscuit, we down 3/4. We both of us in the DJ booth dancing, knocking each other all over the daggone place. And I thought that was normal,
Right, right.
Man. And you get some of these other jocks, and they like, "Well, why y'all dancing around at me? Why you so animated?" And I'm like, "What do you mean animated? I mean, we're dancing. We're into the music."
Well, it's
come against that, man.
And I try not to be, I can't control that, you know what I'm saying? I try to, because, you do have to be standing there and mix, though, you can't be dancing too much.
Right.
But when I was younger, man, I really used to dance. I'm getting a little old now to be doing it, but and you know what, man? You know what I'm gonna tell you, man? It really affects the energy in the room, though, because the energy is like, if they feel like if you're not having a good time, then we're not having a good time.
Right.
So I try to make sure I'm having a good time first, and if I'm not having a good time, I damn sure don't expect you to be having a good time, because I ain't having one. So I'm gonna show you I'm having a good time. I'm dancing, So that's how I look at it, basically.
Mm-hmm. I've seen you up there like you're getting the Holy Spirit back there in the DJ booth.
Yeah. It is truly, Tina. It is a this is no joke. It is a religious experience for me, because each night you don't know what you're going to get. It's like a sermon. It depends on what kind of day I've had, what kind of my mood is, what kind of energy I'm getting from the room. All of that plays a big factor, because it's really authentic. It's not planned out. I might not know how these records are going to go together. I might know some of the records I'm going to play. I'll say, okay, it's like I know about what the sermon is going to be about, but I don't know where it's going to go. You know what I'm saying? So, it's real organic for me, man. It really is.
So where do you see the industry going, Teddy, in a few years? Have you completely settled with this whole new digital world? Do you see vinyl coming back, or in some form or fashion?
No.
Mm-hmm.
The vinyl is not coming back that strong.
Mm-mm.
The vinyl will only be a tool, like. You know what? What's really disturbing? I don't think even CD format will be viable in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you walk into stores that used to have that. I mean, like I walked into Best Buy today, and the CDs is all the way in the back by the bathroom. It used to be right in the front. And they got 2 aisles. And they got 7 aisles of Blu-ray DVDs, though. I mean, it's really, 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 really. And where do I see it going? I think that you're going to have to rely on other things. I think that, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think that it's gone back to where it was before. And that basically it's fair game, Now, the playing field is pretty level. Majors and everybody. It's fair game. I mean, if you have a great record, then that's who's going to win.
Right.
And that's it. Nobody, and that's it. So because I always tell people, let the mainstream come to you. You do you, and that's what we've been. Beatport just did a feature on us this week. They're doing a Black History Month, and one of the questions was asking us why, what keeps us, being innovators and not imitators, and it's like, so you can continue to do what you do and let the mainstream come to you. The digital world has affected it though tremendously, because now we don't have that financial flux that we had with the vinyl, because that was heavy revenue. We've got it's like I said, the playing field is really level now with digital. With the digital, that's what I think where it is, and it's publishing and getting your record placed and all of that stuff, and live performances is basically where you're going to make money. A lot of times when you make a lot of times you have to find other revenues to make money in the music industry these days, like publishing and ringtones and other places where you're going to make money, television, movies, and placing songs, other places is where it really, because the digital thing is really limited.
Yeah, that's something I like to ask a lot of producers and artists is what is their opinion on the value of the music? See, before you were selling plastic, right. The actual plastic was part of the product. You were actually in the plastic selling business. Now that they've eliminated that, you're not selling the plastic anymore. There's no profit from that, and now someone has valued your music as 99 cents.
Yep. Yep.
What do you feel about your music being valued as 99 cents?
Yep, because I think it's really crazy, Tina and Chuck. But the thing was, I was gonna say is, and I refuse to give it away. People give away promos like, why you really giving your music no value? You know what I mean? To give it away. Yeah. It's already being given away at $1.99 or 99 cents. It's practically being given away. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when people call me DJs asking, can you send me that? I said, you've got to be kidding me. Really, seriously.
Yeah. And you think about it, man. Corporate America, they named that price. The people didn't name that price. Corporate America put that 99 cent tag on it, man.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. And that's why there's not going to be a whole lot of money generated, digital sales. Versus the profit margin that you had, like you said, with vinyl or even CDs. I think where they messed up was CDs was priced way too large, and I was right at the record store period when CDs came in, and CDs was at first they came in like at $20-something, and then they went back to $16.99, $14.99, but that was way too much, from when you used to pay $10 for an album, or $5 at one time for an LP. They really got greedy, and I think that's what spurred the whole digital world, the Napster and the whole digital thing where we can just get this music for free then, You already messed up by making it a digital format now. Where before, when it wasn't available, when they made the digital recorder, that did it. Because therefore you could digitize anything now. Mm-hmm. You know, as long as they didn't make the CD recorder, it was okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then when that came in, when you can make a digital copy, mm-hmm. I saw it change right before my eyes, man. The whole industry.
You know, speaking of the industry, I got a tech question for you, just as a producer, and you've been around long enough to see the change, man. I mean, how do you feel about the change? Whereas when you're talking in the early '90s, man, when you were recording on 2-inch 256 Apex tape, right. Cutting tape,
right.
all that
right.
stuff. Now you don't have
I loved it.
None of that no more.
No, I actually hate it, and I'm building a new studio now, and I'm gonna be going back to. It's not what you do it on; it's what you comfortable doing on it. And most of the studios just use a computer, man, and the feel of moving your hand up and down on a board with the levels and all of that. You can feel it's missing in music. Period. You can feel it. The human thing is really missing.
Yes. Yeah.
That's how I feel. I totally feel.
Throw away them flying fader boards you spent $100,000 on back in the '90s.
Yeah, man, the human thing. Because I would be mixing and I'd be humanly moving the fade up and down. Where you don't do that with a digital board. You set it at that level, and that's where it is. It doesn't have any human emotion to it. Mm-hmm. And that's what all the records that we loved and we grew up on. And I like Motown records and Philadelphia International records, and those records had that emotion. It don't happen. It's not happening today. It's really disheartening.
Well, what about when you DJ? Go ahead, Tina.
Go ahead, Tina.
I was going to ask one thing about what you do is that you give something a lot of producers don't do, and that's give your artist a name. People know who Margaret Grace is. They've heard her perform. They know who she is. You're creating an icon. What made you stick to that philosophy of creating, quote unquote, an icon? And do you have any plans for her in the future?
The plan was what we talked about original. It's the same plan, Tina, from when I talked about earlier when we had the cattle call with alternate and we was going to do this for real, and we was going to follow the Barry Gordy thing where we're going to get artists and songs. So that whole same thing applies, where basically we were going to make her, in my eyes, in the next alternate tale or the next Crystal Waters or whatever, mine, because I like, building artists, because I feel like I'm not an artist. What I do is produce records and I write songs, and I figure that a lot of producers don't allow the artists to be that. They want to, put their names out front and kind of squash the artist. Well, the artist can actually go out there and be an artist and perform, and I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to do that. Right. And Margaret is actually a great songwriter. She co-writes everything with me. And so the plans is, like I said, we got a new record coming out called My Love Is Not Blind. That's coming out in the summer. We just finished recording. That's really, 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 really good. I'm really loving it. And we're gonna keep making records. We got an album that we're gonna work out. Probably will be out around fall of 2011. So I'm gonna continue to work with Margaret because I love Margaret Grace. Margaret Grace and our friends, and I love her. I love her unique talent, and Crystal was like that too. Kind of like unique things, Ultra too. So I'm kind of drawn to those unique voices.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And Teddy, you said something about before about the Basement Boys doing like a album together coming out next year.
No, I said we're relaunching the label, Basement Boys Records, and we're gonna. I think Crystal Waters might do a new record next year. Well, this year, later on this year. We haven't put a new record on Basement Boys Records in about 3 years. Mm-hmm. Since I was going through my period of I'm going to leave the record industry. Remember that?
Right.
So I decided to relaunch after this party in Miami. We're going to relaunch the label. And the parties, is the beginning of this big, relaunch of the label. We're just gonna put some new records out, some remixes, some old records, and just rework the catalog. Kind of like what Strictly Rhythm has done.
I see. Okay. We got about 5 minutes left. We got Teddy Douglas on the line, y'all. If you have a question for Teddy, we see we've got quite a few callers on here, but if you have a question, hit 1 if you have a question for Teddy. The number's 347-237-5205. We're also taking questions from the Hands on Radio chat room and the Blog Talk Radio chat room. Eddie, Teddy, we got about 5 more minutes, so I wanted to take this time to plug anything that you haven't plugged and give any contact information for yourself, booking for you, Margaret, or any of the other artists that you've been working for. And also wanted to see if you had any more R&B stuff that you had down the pipeline that you're working on, besides the Marcel.
Raheem Devon and I talked about working together, so we're hoping that's coming together. Something really interesting I'm doing with Ashley Simpson. They're doing an adaptation of a book called Visible Life, and they wrote all the music to the play. So I'm doing one of the songs from the play, actually. So that's interesting. I'm doing that. So maybe it was supposed to be last fall, maybe because they were having problems with casting. So that'll probably be next year. But I'm doing one of the songs called Born This Way. And we had a lot of singers singing. I had Tevin Campbell. We had a couple people sing. But I think actually next week I have Kenny Bobian singing. So we got to see how that turns out. So we have to see.
Okay.
And let me see what else is going on. I got the party I told you in Miami. We got Marcel project coming out on Sage and Soul. We got I just finished a new remix of Praying for You by Anthony Hamilton. That's coming out on my vinyl label, Salvation. That's coming out next month. And let me see. That's pretty. Oh, and I started a radio station. Everybody. I don't know if this is okay to plug a radio station on your station.
Go ahead, man.
But I do every Friday at WPBradio.com, and it's Teddy's House Party from 3 to 4. I just started that last week. It's a mixture of what I do. It's all kinds of music. It's house, it's dance, it's jazz, it's all. But it's house. It's party music though. So anybody want to check that out? And Save Your Soul. It's the label. BasonBoys.com is the website. TedDancing1@Verizon.net is the email. And Dan at ConnectedTalent.com is my manager. So if anybody want to book me, book Margaret, Dan at ConnectedTalent.com is my manager.
Okay. We got a caller calling in with a question. The way this works is I'll say your area code, and we'll get you on the air. You can pose your question to Teddy Douglas. Caller calling from area code 410. First 3 digits is 369. You're on the air. You have a question or comment for Mr. Teddy Douglas.
Hello, Teddy. This is Damon. What's up, Chuck?
Hey, what's up, Damon?
What's up, Damon?
Hey, Teddy, did you ever imagine beyond your wildest dreams when you started playing music that your career would go this far?
No way, Damon. And I want everybody to know, Damon used to be one of my record store employees at Music Liberated. What's up, D? Back in the day, no, Damon, you saw me back in the day. What I was doing was just loving what I did. I was working the record store, and I was just playing music, and I was just doing what I loved doing. And I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be able to do it for, this long, and still be able to do it. It's really, I don't take it for granted. It's blessings. Definitely.
Cool.
Definitely. I never even dreamed of it.
All right, thanks for the call. That's DJ Damon Ramsey.
What's up, Damon?
All right, man. Thanks for the call. You catch him here on Hands On Radio every Saturday night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. DJ Damon Ramsey, Be More Soulful is the name of the show.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to check his show out, man. Since he called, man, because he been telling me, man, you been checking my show out, man. You check my show out, man. I'm gonna have to check it. I'm gonna check your show out for real.
Yeah, Damon doing his thing, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Teddy, it's a pleasure having you, man. You know,
this was a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun.
How normal this man is. I mean, this is Teddy Douglas, y'all. I mean, he's done everything, and you would never know it if you met him, man. He's just a normal dude, you know.
Yeah, man.
I remember you used to work at Soundwave, man.
Oh yeah. I managed a lot of record stores, man. I did. I'm the Music Liberated Soundwaves. I did some Iranian store. Oh, House of Music, House of Power. I don't know if anybody remember that on Howard Street. I worked there. That was like my first record store with the Iranians. You know, it was crazy. It was crazy. Serious, man. It was crazy. And the record store was the best. I met a whole lot of people, and the same people you meet on the way up, the same ones you meet on the way down. So I don't take it for granted, man. I'm doing what I love to do, and it's a blessing to be able to do it, man. For real.
Okay, man. I got people texting me questions, man. I don't even know. I guess they're listening on the phone. But my man Jay Rags, he wanted you to speak a little bit more on the Marcel. He said Marcel is the truth.
Oh yeah, speak on Marcel and the truth. Yeah, Marcel and the truth, man. They are bad, man. Marcel's like a Luther Vandross voice, man. I swear, man, this guy sounds like Luther. We doing it's a project him and I doing together. It's gonna be dancey, you know. And we got Natalie on it. We got Mason Leak on it. The Truth is playing on it. It's gonna be a mixture of dancey and there's no gonna be nothing. There's no ballads. There's gonna be none of that on there. It's gonna be like party music from the top to the bottom.
Okay.
And we should be out this summer, man. It's gonna be a summer thing. It's gonna come out this summer. We're wrapping that up right now, mixing it right now. It's a real interesting project. We've been talking about doing this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And you mentioned the Salvation Party. And me and you talked earlier. You
said,
you thinking of getting Joe down?
Yeah, man. April 30th. Tentatively, we do. Joe and I have been talking about this. So he said, man, how come I do it for you, man? So keep your fingers crossed. Joe and I, we're working on the deal now. So April 30th is my next Salvation Party at the Paradox. So I want to see how y'all come out on April 30th. I'm going to do this party seasonal, winter, spring, summer, and fall. So this to be the spring party, April 30th. And it's an anniversary party, actually, because I've been knowing that party for a while now. This will be the 9th year. So we're gonna see. Next week I should have some official word on that. Thanks a lot for letting the cat out the bag, Chuck.
I didn't say Chuck. I just said Chuck.
I ain't telling you nothing else. Yeah, man. But April 30th, that should be a fun party.
Okay, I just thought you wanted to put that teaser out there, man.
Yeah, it's going to happen. It should definitely gonna happen. Let me see if I'm leaving anything out. Everybody should go out and get the Flowers CD. The second song on there is called "Keep It Going." I wrote and produced it with Raheem Devon and Natalie, the Florists from Floetry. And that's pretty much it, man. And Margaret Grace thing is still, everybody's still playing a lot of her stuff from her album, Hope You Feel Better, Try Me, all that stuff. So we should, forgot, Danny Criver's doing remixes on Hope You Feel Better.
Oh.
And that should come out around Winter Music Conference, too. He's finishing that up now. So that's it.
Cool. Teddy, it's a pleasure having you, man. I'm going to most definitely check you out on the other. What's the name of the other station again?
Oh, sorry, let's talk that one more time. WPBradio.com.
WPB Radio. All right.
Yeah, W Public Broadcast. WPB Radio.
Okay.
And it's .com every Friday from 3 to 4. It's Teddy's house party.
Okay. All right. I'm not
every
gonna
Friday.
I don't feel betrayed. It was a time you used to be on Hands on Radio.
No. See, I didn't want to say too much about it. I didn't want to say. See, I didn't want to say. It's like I'm on ABC and I'm talking about something on CBS, man. That's not right.
It ain't like that, man. We ain't making ABC money, man.
Right. But no, it's you're not doing nothing on Fridays from 3 to 4. You're doing what's your show on 3 to 4 Friday?
3 to 4. Biscuit on the airways of 3 to 4 on Hands On.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, Biscuit. Biscuit's my man. Yeah, Biscuit's sorry with me, man. Man, I appreciate this, man. This was real fun. Tina, we didn't hear much from you, Tina.
No, I'm learning. So when my chance come, I'm ready.
Yeah, Tina's co-host. She's gonna host this show in the future. Matter of fact, she may do the show next week. I'm thinking about just letting her go ahead and do her first show next week by herself with Jamie. Yeah. Because I'm gonna step back and let her handle do the thing.
So Chuck, man, I'll come back to Hands on Radio if you want me to come back, man. I'll come back because I did I started this talk radio stuff.
You
man.
did.
You started that earlier. You said that earlier, but I want to reiterate that.
I tell everybody, man. It was a good interview. People loved it, man.
With Wayne Davis. I would. It just was at that time, man. It was a lot going on, and but I would love. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
Well, yeah, we talk, man. That was before your epiphany that you had.
Yep. Yep. that was before, right? I was man, I'm going away, man. I'm done.
Teddy ain't never retiring. He had one eye, 1 tooth, and a walker with a disco ball. He's still gonna be doing music. It don't matter.
You know what, Tina? I might as well. What else I'm gonna do?
Yep. Well,
might as well. And you know what? Long as it's still fun and long as I'm inspiring other people, that's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's really all about. So I'm good. I'm good. I got a couple more years. I'm getting to be an old man though, but I got a couple more years.
I seen you out. You got lots of spunk. Trust me. Ain't nothing old about you.
Yeah, man. It's still fun for me. I really love DJing, and I appreciate everybody came out. Chuck, I appreciate you coming out Saturday to the party.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. I come through. Yeah.
Damon came through too. I appreciate you coming out, Damon.
Yep, him and his
wife.
wife.
It was good. It was fun. It was fun. Got a chance to play on the Paradox. Has one of the best sound systems. If anybody know about the Paradox sound system, it's one of the best on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Now,
so, man, that was
to that next Salvation, man.
Yeah, April 30th.
Okay.
I'll be there.
All right, man.
All right, Teddy. Until next time, we'll talk a little more about this Hands on Radio comeback thing.
All right, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you guys.
All right,
man.
Thanks, Teddy.
All right. Thanks, Tina.
Thanks, Teddy. Bye.
That's going to do it for Teddy Douglas. Next week, we got Jamie 347, DJ from Chi-Town, coming on. We're going to have Tina Seniosa is going to run that show. Same place, handsonradio.fm/talk. Same number, 347-237-5205. Want to thank Teddy. Want to thank everybody who tuned in. Looks like we had some international callers coming in. Sorry if I didn't get to you. I saw a Skype caller come through and couldn't get to you in time. Maybe next time. Come back next week. We're out, y'all. Take care.
Later.